Hello everybody and welcome to the first ever episode, but not really, but kind of is, the first episode of the Geek'd Out Podcast, a podcast about video games. I'm here with one of my, probably my best friends, probably one of my only friends.
Oh, that's nice.
Because I'm not including Divine.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
It's Chris. Hello
It's
Chris,
me.
how you going today, mate?
Yeah, I'm good about yourself.
I am doing pretty good, and that was probably the worst intro. I promise everyone it'll get better by episode 66.
Execute order 66.
Speaking of Star Wars, so yeah, guys, I'm bringing back the Geek'd Out Podcast. It's gonna be kind of similar but a little bit different. I'm gonna be doing it solo with a special guest, hopefully every week. And we'll talk about all our favorite video games. As you can tell by this week's episode title, that this week we'll be talking about Halo Combat Evolved. Very excited about this one. But first, Chris, what have you been playing this week? Any games?
Bits and pieces, man. Like, I still enjoy Sea of Thieves on the occasion. I was playing a bit of solo, just mucking around. Had some interesting times there. And surprisingly, I've actually been playing a bit of old school RuneScape again.
Is that what I've been seeing you on Discord, and it's constantly on, where is it?
On RuneLight?
RuneLight. Are you like always playing, or is it like bugged?
Well, I leave it on a lot, but there's a lot of stuff where it's like I just leave it AFK for a while, and then it logs me out, and then the Discord says I'm still playing it even though I'm not.
Yeah, because I know Discord gets bugged out a little bit, like our good friend Shirakor is always trying to escape Tarkov for some reason.
He's always stuck in Tarkov.
He probably is actually playing it 24/7. Miss that little dude. Yeah, Sea of Thieves. What a game. The game we love to hate. Hopefully gets a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, Falcor's hype video, which really showed nothing, for some reason got me hyped as hell for 2021. So hopefully we see some big things coming. And
you're not the type of dude to get overly hyped. You're pretty cautious with things, yeah?
Oh yeah, man. I've been burnt too many times. Like when I was younger, I was the pinnacle pre-order kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As soon as the game got announced, I was like going down to EB Games, fucking pre-order. And it just got to the point where so many games came out and they were just shit. Or just not lived up to the expectations. So
yeah, for sure. I think
I've been a bit jaded these days.
I'm trying to think of the games that got me hard. I think the main game I can think of was No Man's Sky.
Oh, dude, No Man's Sky.
That hurt me.
It hurt my soul. Just deep down. Real pain.
I was like, man, this is going to be cool. It's going to be space and exploration. And you get in and it's like, oh, I've made a mistake. It's like, did I get the right game? Is this like No Man's Sky or something? So
this
dumb.
Is a cheap Chinese knockoff version.
Yeah, Sea of Thieves. So all I've been playing this week basically is the new Call of Duty Cold War. And I've always liked Call of Duty. I sort of get pretty hard into it for a few months, and then something new and shiny comes along, and then I sort of forget about it for the rest of the year. But this one is really good. The campaign is probably the best campaign I've actually played in a Call of Duty, even though I haven't played that much of the campaigns, but this one was really good. And, you know, Call of Duty multiplayer, solid shooting, good, stupid, fun times, trying to get all the stupid skins for all your stupid guns that I don't need, but I can't stop. I need to get all the skins.
Yeah, I used to love... I mean, I haven't played Call of Duty seriously in years, but the early Modern Warfare games, the campaigns I love. The Black Ops, I think, had a great campaign. Yes. Especially the music. I always get a hard on for like... I think during one of the opening cutscenes, they played Fortunate Son by Credence, and I was like, oh my god, yeah, man, keep that shit going.
Every Vietnam movie ever. Fortunate Son.
Yeah, but it's so good though, you know what I mean? Can't fuck with it, it's just too good.
It's like, they play like war scenes, and it's like, wait, when is this set? Oh, Fortunate Son's playing. Must be the Vietnam War.
It's this whole other country.
A Fortunate Son. But yeah, Call of Duty, I'm always a sucker for it. Every year I'm like, I'm not going to get it this year. They need to change, but then they suck me in with something. But it's a Black Ops. Technically, it's a Black Ops game, and I've always really enjoyed the Black Ops series. So I jumped in, glad I did. Also, you and I have been watching, like the rest of the world, have been watching The Mandalorian.
Oh yes. Yes.
Episode, was it 13?
Chapter 13.
Chapter
I think,
13 dropped last night, and I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but it's the kind of show I think everyone needs to watch. I don't care if you are a Star Wars fan or not. I think you will enjoy it because it's that good.
Not only is it for the Star Wars fans though, because it's just so well made, man.
Yeah.
Like the music and the cinematography, it's just on point. It's like nothing I've seen in a television show. Really, the money they must be spending on making the show is unreal.
I haven't been this into a show since Game of Thrones.
I was about to say, this is like the way I look forward to an episode of Mandalorian is how I used to look forward to an episode of Game of Thrones in like season 3 and 4 of Game of Thrones.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's that peak hype where Game of Thrones was just so fucking good every episode.
And for us, it's even better because, we're both Star Wars fans as well. So we're like, ooh, what are they gonna talk about next week? And then you're sort of like, oh, how is that going to this story and this story? And then sort of like Mando himself has sort of almost become like a background character. Like,
yeah.
It's kind
almost.
of weird, but he's still so badass, and I love him.
Because it's like every episode you're just looking for those little pieces, because Star Wars now is so vast. There's all the animated shows, the stupid I've never read any of the comics, but I've read about the comics, the books.
I know of the comics.
I know of their existence. It's so vast, the stuff that they could pull from. And what's his name? Jon Favreau and
what a god.
Shit, I can't remember the mate who directed this episode. They just pull those cheeky little bits all the time out of Clone Wars, out of Rebels, out of just all this little. They just lay all those Easter eggs in there. Yeah, video games, and you're like, oh shit, he mentioned that. You know what I mean?
I think.
And just good stuff.
I think with me, you, and Divine are gonna have to do a spoiler cast or something when the season finishes, and geek out over the Mandalorian one episode, because it's just it's that good. I can't wait for next week. It just gives me everything I want in Star Wars. It gives me Jedis and saber battles and shooting, and it's just so good. The characters are so good, and then there's like Baby Yoda, the child, or what's his name?
It's just like Grogu.
Grogu.
Yeah.
Dumb name, but he's still adorable.
Even it's just so different as well, because a lot of the movies are such as on this grand scale kind of thing, but it feels so personal.
Yeah,
like it's a lot more grounded story. Because even when you get those episodes like that are kind of filler episodes, they're still cool to me.
Yeah,
like that episode. Which one was it? The episode where they crashed onto the ice planet with those fucking alien face huggers.
Oh, the alien face hugger spider things, and all they did was like try to survive. But I was like, this is sick.
It was just good, yeah. It didn't really do anything. It was just a filler episode. But I don't know, I really enjoyed it.
Plus, the good thing, I'll end it with this, but the good thing about The Mandalorian is it could totally not be Star Wars and still be good. Like, you could replace Mando with just any kind of like bounty hunter. You could replace the child with another cute thing. You could replace, lightsabers and Jedi with samurais and swords and all that stuff, and I think it would still be pretty great. I think the Star Wars, like the Star Wars-ness of it all makes it brilliant, but I think it would still work without Star Wars.
Yeah, it definitely gives me, I'm not sure if you ever watched it, it definitely gives me vibes of Firefly. Did you ever watch? It's like a space western.
Firefly, no.
Yeah, I love Firefly, and I really think what's his name?
Old mate.
No, fuck, I can't remember his name. I think Firefly in that kind of old school space western.
Yeah,
and that's what kind of vibes I get from those episodes of Mandalorian, and that's such a cool genre or a subgenre, I suppose.
Like when he rolls into that
Tatooine and shit, and you can hear like
it
sounds like he's got spurs on his boots or something.
Yeah, when he rolls into that little town.
Yeah, These are chills, man.
This isn't the Mandalorian podcast.
Nathan Fillion. Nathan Fillion. That's his name. Give him credit. Nathan Fillion.
Nathan Fillion.
Oh, Nathan Fillion.
Old mate. Yeah. Okay. We have to start a Mandalorian podcast apparently. So yeah, we'll definitely have to do like a spoiler cast of Mandalorian at some point. But everyone, you all clicked on this, I assumed, because of Halo Combat Evolved, which is the game Chris chose this week. I should have said the guest every week will choose the game. I won't choose anything. Maybe I'll hint at some things. I don't know, because there's some games I would love to talk about. But most of the time, the guest will choose the game, and Chris has chosen Halo Combat Evolved for the first week. And, fantastic game. Probably regarded as one of the better first-person shooters in the console market. Kind of changed the game, changed the landscape of first-person shooters on consoles. Yeah, so we're going to start with development. The beginning of Halo. Chris was just a young man and he bought Halo.
I didn't even buy it, man. I'm pretty I can't remember if I was 11, I think, at the time when because it came out in what, 2001, 2002, 2003, one of those years. I can't remember.
One of those years, yes.
in that time frame. And yeah, my parents got a free Xbox.
How?
Because it came with they bought a duo plan of the old Nokia 3310s from Telstra.
Yep.
And it was like a promo thing, and it came with a fucking free OG Xbox.
Oh, Telstra been doing that ever since then. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, man, it was good. I was like, oh shit, and I'm pretty sure it came with it because it was like Halo for me is the beginning. Like, there was the very first game that got me playing video games. Really, I got the console, and that's the first game I really remember playing.
Was Halo?
It was Halo.
There we go. That's where it started. And now look at you playing Sea of Thieves.
And not really playing
Halo. Maybe. Well, they're all on PC now. And Halo, was it Halo Infinite?
The new one that's coming out?
Yeah, it'll come out early next year, apparently. That'll be on PC as well. So
actually, I'm pretty sure there's didn't it release on Steam recently? The Master Chief Collection? Shit, it's $32.
Oh, it's on everything. It's on Steam. It's on the Xbox Game Pass, which is the best value for money ever.
Oh shit, it's on Game Pass? I have Game Pass.
I think EA is bringing out all their games or most of their games on Game Pass eventually for PC. Download.
Click.
So yeah, you were correct. I guess with one of those years, Halo Combat Evolved is a first-person sci-fi shooter developed by Bungie. You know Bungie. And published by Microsoft Game Studios. It was released as a launch title for the OG Microsoft Xbox on November 15th, 2001 in North America and March 14th, 2002 in Australia and Europe. Microsoft also released versions of the game for Windows and Mac in 2003. The game was later released as a downloadable original Xbox game for the Xbox 360. So yeah, we had it 2002.
I'm pretty sure I also downloaded it on 360. I remember playing it for a while.
Because when did the 360 come out?
Oh, mate, no
6 years after that?
I did have a 360. I was hardcore Xbox fanboy.
2005. Wow.
Shit, eh? November 22nd, 2005.
I was in grade 12.
I was not in grade 12. I was in grade 9.
You little kid.
Oh, I was this little boy.
Well, yeah, I was grade 12, so I was 17. I was like, you know what? Games can go over there. Girls, on the other hand, you come over here. I'm interested in girls now. Stupid, silly, young Wilby. But now it's the opposite. It's like, girls, you go over there. Games, come back over here, baby.
I suppose a lot of times it takes more of a backseat when you already have that special someone. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So. Yeah. Plus, I was like really into music and playing in bands and stuff.
I was gonna say, well, you were in a band, so that makes sense.
Yeah. I can't do two things at once. It's physically impossible.
I agree.
So in 1997, Bungie finished up and released a game called Myth The Fallen Lords, which was a real-time tactics game and wanted to get started on Myth 2's development. Bungie at this point in time had about 12 to 15 employees, and a few of those employees, along with Jason Jones, who is the co-founder of Bungie, as well as Halo's project lead, started working on a side project. They wanted to originally make a science fiction based real-time strategy game focused on realistic physics and three-dimensional terrain, which, you know, 97, that's pretty freaking ballsy.
Yeah, it is. That's nuts.
Like, you look at any game from 97, it's the projects. this was a pretty funny, I should say, researching the development for this game was actually super interesting because there's such a big story to how they made this game. It's pretty crazy.
Well, how do you go from that, the real-time strategy game, to the first-person shooter of Halo? That's ridiculous, isn't it? That's completely different things.
It is. I think it's just over the years and different people coming in, and I think because it was a side project, I think they'll just trying different things, and then they'd figure something out and be like, "Ooh, I actually like this now." But the project's working title was called Monkey Nuts, but later changed to Blam after Jason couldn't bring himself to tell his mother he was working on a game called Monkey Nuts. So
that's understandable.
He's like, "Mom, I'm working on a game." What's it called?
Check out my new game.
Monkey Nuts. I don't know why it would be called Monkey Nuts. It's sci-fi.
Yeah, that makes no sense. Monkey Nuts. I don't know.
Well, that's the brilliance of Jason Jones.
Yeah.
They looked at Myth and thought it would have been better in a sci-fi setting, and also looked at games like StarCraft and thought that game would have been better without all the resource management. One of their first ideas to one-up all the other sci-fi RTS games was to have vehicles that actually moved realistically like a vehicle would move. At this point, they were still using the engine Myth was made on and still in isometric perspective. They experimented with different ways to control vehicles and units, with Bungie adding a mode that attached the camera to individual units' perspectives. The main vehicle they tested in was the Warthog. Being able to drive it around a crazy 3D terrain was super fun for the whole team, that they wanted to kind of make a game based around that alone. So the Warthog was added very, very early in development, which is iconic.
That doesn't surprise me. Yeah, the Warthog really is the pinnacle Halo vehicle. It's so iconic.
Because they would I was reading, they would drive it around and just be like, man, just driving this, like, yeah, it's kind of like a forward drive sort of jeepy tanky thing. They're like, man, this is so fun, especially with, you know, the 3D terrains they were making with the hills and, you know, all that stuff. Kind of made it into the first game, especially some of those iconic maps.
Yeah, I love the Warthog, man. It's just so good. You know, I mean, I think it's probably the standard for those kind of vehicles in the game at the time. It was just, mind you, when I remember when released, the physics was a bit here and there, because obviously the technology they had in 2000 wasn't great.
They did pretty good with what they had.
To drive.
Yeah. Plus, it was on console, which is just nuts. By mid 1998. They decided that this shouldn't be an RTS and became a third-person shooter. Jason Jones didn't even have Halo in his head at all, as there was no clear story, and this was basically a multiplayer game. So they went from, you know what, no RTS, let's make it a third-person shooter. And I was reading that and I was like, am I reading this correctly? This was a third-person shooter game, and they had no story. They were originally not even going to make it a single player or a campaign kind of game. It was basically multiplayer, and that's all they were working on in 1998, which was kind of insane with what came out.
Yeah, isn't it? Like, these days, games can take, you know, I mean, how long has Cyberpunk been in development for? Lifetime.
2000 years.
And yeah, and they managed to throw together a game like Halo that I would still consider had a really great campaign, like really great stories up until Halo 1 to 3 is a great trilogy of games, story wise. And they had no idea where that was going or where it started. That's impressive to me.
Yeah, like they just didn't even weren't even like thinking about it. Weren't even like, hey, we'll think about this later. They were like, you know what? We're gonna make a multiplayer game, which was also pretty crazy in 1998, where the internet was around, but it
Barely.
wasn't. It was basically nothing.
Especially in Australia.
It was dial-up.
Dial-up. Oh god.
And like you'd be playing a game, and your mom would be like, "Hey, I'm gonna call Auntie such and such." And you're like, "Oh god damn it!"
He's like, "Hey," then my friend tells me about this, really cool like desktop RPG kind of game. He's like, "Oh, only problem is it's like 7 megabytes, and you got to download it."
Ew.
And I'm like, "What? 7 megabytes? Oh my god!"
Oh my god. Okay, I'll leave it. I'll leave it over the week.
Yeah, leave it over the weekend so I can download it.
No one can call the
2
house.
kilobytes per second.
Oh, do you remember dial-up was brutal, man. Back then it was sick.
Like, you're like, man, I gotta get up. You get up early on the morning on the weekends for any of my sisters to get up, and the parents are awake, and you, I gotta just connect to the internet. And it's just that.
It's like the internet crying.
You're dying as it connects and dials on the internet.
Oh, this is the good old days,
Shit's
man.
unreal.
I'd connect to my dial-up internet. I'd sign into MSN Messenger and go offline, go online, go offline because my crush was on.
Yeah, she just never talked to me.
And it's like,
what a bitch.
why? I'm going online and offline. You see me popping up.
Notice me.
What a weird time. Oh my god, what a weird time. At E3 in May of 1999, Bungie had a behind closed doors showing to any press that wanted to see the game so far. The press had to sign an extremely strict non-disclosure agreement. The feedback was extremely positive, with publications saying the best thing we saw at E3 is a Bungie title, but it's something we can't even talk about yet. So all these press dudes like got in, saw this third person Halo game. I guess it was, I reckon they probably didn't even have a title for it.
Yeah, no, probably
Monkey
not.
Nuts.
Not at that point.
Maybe that's why they couldn't talk about it. It's called Monkey Nuts.
I don't know why that's so funny.
Because it doesn't make
Stupid.
sense. And it's Monkey Nuts. Anything
Monkey
about
nuts.
nuts is hilarious. So at this point in time, this was still a PC game at this point in time. I guess the only thing anyone sort of knew about was, PlayStation and Nintendo, which we'll get to Xbox a little bit later on. But a few months later, they were set to announce the game to the public at the Macworld Conference and Expo, but days before, they still didn't even have a name. A few possible names were the Santa Machine, Solipsis, the Crystal Palace, Hard Vacuum, Star Maker, and Star Shield. I would love if it was called Hard Vacuum.
I feel like they really missed an opportunity by not calling it the Santa Machine. I mean, come on. That's a winner right there.
It's like, what do we play this Christmas, kids? Oh, the Santa Machine every
Santa
year,
Machine.
baby. I can't believe
Dude, yeah, the Santa Machine 2 is coming out.
Santa
Oh my god.
The Santa Machine Infinite.
What the fuck?
That would have been so good.
Yeah.
The title Covenant was a favorite, but Bungie artist Paul Russell suggested a few alternatives, including Halo. While a few people on the team thought that name sounded too religious, designer Marcus Leto said it described enough about what our intent was for this universe in a way that created the sense of mystery. So at first, everyone's like, Halo, that's a little bit too religious. And then this dude's like, nah, this is sick.
Yeah, fuck you.
Which is, they did the best thing. At least it wasn't the Crystal Palace. What a forgettable name. I would rather...
Wait, isn't there like a TV show called it? Or am I thinking of something else?
the Crystal...
Isn't it Crystal Palace or anything? Didn't it had what's his name in it?
I was going to say Johnny Depp. David Bowie?
David Bowie, yeah.
No, that was the Crystal... Let's have a look. The Crystal... TV show... I don't know.
feel like
It's called
Crystal
something.
Yeah.
Not the Crystal Maze. Google, help. Anyway, someone in the comments tell us how wrong we are. So yeah, they came up with Halo like days before they were announcing it. So Bungie officially announced Halo at the Macworld Conference and Expo on July 21, 1999, with Steve Jobs introducing the game, and I'll have a link to the video of that in the show notes if you want to see it. Kind of cool, just seeing, old turtleneck Steve Jobs announcing Halo for the Mac. Pretty nuts.
Yeah.
Halo was promised as an open world game with terrain that reacted and deformed from explosions, persistent environments, details such as spent shell casings, and variable weather, none of which made it into the final product. They were, shooting for the stars.
Super ambitious. But I mean, imagine how cool that would have been if it did get into the.
They could do that now.
Environment. Oh, awesome.
Like terrain that reacted, destructible environments, weather. They could do that now. Do it now, guys.
Just fucking do it.
Master Chief was simply known as the Cyborg, which is catchy as. It was shown again at E3 in June 2000 and was still a third-person shooter at this time. And now I was wondering, like, okay, when did it become a first-person shooter? Did I even play Halo? I might be asking myself. Bungie's financial situation during Halo's development was extremely uncertain. Ahead of Myth 2's release, Bungie was surviving from its predecessor's sales and had missed release dates. A glitch that caused Myth 2 to wipe the contents of the directory it was installed to was discovered only after 200,000 copies had been produced for the December 1998 launch, which is that's brutal. Imagine that now.
That's real bad.
Imagine that now. Bungie recalled the copies and issued a fix, costing the company $800,000.
I know what shit. That's 800K back in 1999.
Yeah,
98. That's well, if you judge for inflation now, that'd be ridiculous.
That's like 900,000.
That's like $1 million.
1 million. They laugh at you like pathetic. As a result, Bungie were forced to sell a share of the company and publishing rights to Take-Two Interactive. Still facing financial difficulties, they contacted Ed Fries, the head of Microsoft Game Studios, about a possible acquisition. Fries was working on developing the software lineup for Microsoft's first game console, the Xbox. Microsoft negotiated an agreement with Take-Two Interactive where Microsoft gained Bungie and the rights to Halo, while Take-Two kept the Myth and Oni properties. So who got the good end of that deal? Good old Take-Two. Microsoft announced its acquisition of Bungie on June 19th, 2000. Halo was now to be a tentpole launch for the Xbox, and oh my god, the pressure.
Yep.
At this point, from what I can remember and what I've read throughout my life, that no one believed in the Microsoft Xbox, because we had the PlayStation, we had Nintendo consoles. They were the big boys. We had Sega at the time as well. And, Microsoft being, a software company coming in with a console, it's like, no, yuck, get away from us. Yeah.
What are you doing?
And I believe that, I think I might write it later. I'll say it now, but I do believe if there was no Halo, there would be no Xbox.
I think it definitely wouldn't have been as successful.
I think they would have died.
Because, look, I mean, I can't speculate on that, whether or not they would have died or not, but I agree with that. It definitely would. I mean, Halo was, it got to a point where Xboxes were coming with Halo, you know what I mean? So it was obviously, they really put everything behind it, and it launched the console. Yep.
Launched each other, which is really good.
And then obviously, did Halo 2 come out around the same time the 360 came out? I'm not exactly sure.
I'm gonna say maybe.
But again, they've always been, when you think of Xbox and exclusives, it's Halo all the way. Halo is their flagship exclusive.
Halo is Xbox. Xbox is Halo.
Well, Halo 2 came out in 2004, so Halo 2 came out obviously just before the Xbox 360.
That's nuts. So in less than a year, Bungie had to turn Halo from a loose collection of ideas into a shipping product on an unproven console. To make players feel more connected to the action, Jason Jones pushed for turning the game's perspective from third person to first person. The key concern was making sure the game played well on the Xbox's gamepad at the time. First-person shooters on consoles were rare, even though games like GoldenEye 64 were doing extremely well. Other Bungie projects were scrapped, and their teams absorbed into Halo to rush and complete it. The designers prototyped encounters and enemy AI on a sandbox level B30. The success of gameplay on this small chunk of game energized the team, and B30 became the fourth mission, the Silent Cartographer, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and that's the Silent Cartographer is a great level too.
I don't remember anything of Halo. My brain's mush. Bungie cut features drastically to make the release date. The open world plans were scrapped, and it became clear the lengthy planned campaign was not feasible. To save time, Marcus Leto, who is the co-creator of Halo Universe and creative director of Halo, floated the idea of reusing campaign levels, and glowing directional arrows were added after playtesters got lost. Microsoft game writers Eric Troutman and Brandon Boren, I'm so sorry if I mispronounce any name. These names, they're not easy.
Yeah, they never seem
like, yeah, if you want to be a game developer, get like a really hard to pronounce name.
Well, it's not even that. If you just want to be anyone who's famous or like generally well known, your name has to be hard to pronounce. That's just like a rule.
Very easy, like Stan Lee.
Stan Lee. Stan the man.
Stan the man. They performed last-minute rewrites to improve the game's script a week before voiceover sessions, while not being allowed to view the game itself. The campaign cutscenes came in so late that composer Martin O'Donnell had to score them only in 3 freaking days. A whole game in 3 days.
That's ridiculous.
An online multiplayer component was dropped because Xbox Live would not even be ready for the release. So that's why they didn't do multiplayer. Well, online multiplayer, and we'll get into that later for release. And can we just talk about the music for a second?
Oh, dude.
You hear those voices, you hear that orchestra, and you just get swept back.
Chills, man. Gives you chills. So good.
On this while on the YouTube version of this podcast, by the way, I might play some Halo music in the background, so you'll probably be listening to it this whole time.
It's just every time. That's one of the things, man. It just gives you chills every time you walk into those levels and that orchestral music starts playing.
So
even then, and then when you get to the like the hard point combat scenes, and you get the dun 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 dun, you know, it's just fucking whew.
Maybe you should have written the symphonies for that. Just do that over and over again. That'd be so good. Imagine that.
Good shit.
Well,
good shit.
Now with all Twitch's DMCAs, you might have to do it for everyone. Yeah, like in thinking back, you know, the 2001, that was pretty freaking sick for the time. You know, we're still sort of living in, we're kind of past the 16-bit, 32-bit. It wasn't, music was getting a lot better, but this was like big, and it was like a movie. It was insane. That was the cool thing. It was like a movie, which was
man, I mean, I used to leave it on the opening credits, like not the credits, like the opening cuts. What do you call it? The menu, I suppose.
Opening
when I was a kid.
Menu, yeah.
Yeah, just so you could hear the oh. It's just good shit. It kind of reminds me of that I did the same thing with Skyrim. It had the same thing when you're in that main menu.
Yep.
They're like the chants. Just when the music is so good like that, it really pulls you into the game.
So game developers, if you want Chris to buy your game, have really good menu music.
Have good menu music. That's, I mean, if I did a review, good menu music has to be key.
Bad menu music, didn't even play. I uninstalled.
Returned it straight away.
That's true. Like with most games, you know, sometimes you'll know what the game is about. You'll see a trailer, whatever. But when you like buy the game and the first thing you see is that menu, having good music just like it pumps you up. Whatever's like about to happen, you're like, oh man, this, and having something epic like, you know, the Halo music, it's like, oh man, this is gonna be epic.
Yeah, definitely gets you in the mood.
Or we can have Fortunate Son play, whatever you want.
Well, any Creedence Clearwater Revival, really, they're good shit. All that stuff is good shit.
They had one song.
Just only one song.
Just one song. We all know it. That's the truth. There you go. Halo's debut had been well received. but its move to the unproven Xbox console caused press treatment to be colder than it was before. While a playable demonstration of the game at GameStop 2001 was well received, critics had mixed reactions to its exhibition at E3 2001, where the game was shown off in a very broken state with poor frame rates and technical issues. Wow. And it's 2021. I mean, it's 2020, almost 2021, and that's still happening.
All the time.
Even with Microsoft, Halo was divisive. After Bungie refused to change the Halo name to appease marketing research teams, the subtle Combat Evolved was added to make it more descriptive and compete better with other military-themed games. Which is, yeah.
I mean, to me, that's amusing, because as a kid, I don't even remember it being called Halo Combat Evolved.
No one calls it Combat Evolved.
It was just Halo.
It's Halo 1.
Yeah.
Stupid marketing research teams. You don't know jack.
You don't know shit.
Also, I found out that, found out a few things about Master Chief that I am quite stupid, and I thought Master Chief was his name.
No, his name was John. Is it John 117?
It's John 117.
John 117, yeah.
And Master Chief is just his, his.
Well, I think Master Chief is technically a rank, isn't it?
It's his rank.
Yeah.
And then John, I'm just gonna call him John from now on. He's actually in the Navy. It's a Navy rank.
I didn't know that.
Which is weird because I haven't played much Halo, so correct me if I'm wrong, anyone. But I'm pretty sure he's mostly on land or in spaceships. He's not driving around in boats. Actually, were there boats?
Well, because what's the USS? What's their ships called?
USS.
Because they have like a whole military system. So maybe it's not the same, because it is set like in the 2500s or something from memory.
Yeah, maybe the Navy changed.
Yeah, because the Pillar of Autumn is the ship, or is it the level? The ship. I think in the first game the ship is called the Autumn or the Pillar of Autumn.
Pillar of Autumn, yes.
Yeah.
The UNSC Pillar of Autumn.
That's a UNSC. So I would assume maybe that's, since it's UNSC, maybe that's got the naval services in there somewhere, and they've taken, instead of sailing on the ocean, it's sailing in the skies.
Oh, they're sailing
like
space.
So they're naval, because they're in space. I don't know.
There we go. We learn something new every day, kids. Hit that like button if you learned something new today. Smash that like button.
Well, there's a lot of really interesting shit in the Halo lore, because he's like, the reason he's such a badass is because he's a Spartan.
Yes.
And they're like the whole like mutation process they go through as kids. It's kind of like witches. A lot of them just die and don't make it. Because I'm pretty sure in the first game settings, lore-wise, he's really young. Like 17, 18, 19. He's a teenager, I think. Because they grow really tall and they mature really fast.
So are they born, or are they created, or a little bit of both?
So they're regular kids that are born, I think, obviously. And then I'm pretty sure, just like other fucked up experiments, they're kind of like nobody kids. So they're kidnapped or taken by the government and go into these, because I think he's a Spartan too. Again, this is just from memory, which is like the second generation of the programs.
A good generation.
And, a lot of them don't survive, because I think you don't even see another Spartan mentioned in the games for a while. It's not till you get to like Halo Reach, where they talk about, because there's a whole other crew of Spartans there in Reach, and so he's just a real motherfucking badass.
Halo is fucking dark.
Yeah, there's a lot of that kind of shit, that shit in there.
Wouldn't that be cool to do like a Mandalorian style TV series where they sort of explore that? The creation of the Spartans and stuff.
Ever since I was a kid, I've killed for a live-action Halo TV series.
Oh shit, he's killed.
Yes, I'm just murder people to see it. Because before Halo 4 released, they made a mini-series called Forward Unto Dawn, which was relatively low budget, and Master Chief only appears like at the end of the series for a little bit, because it's a prequel series. But I fucking loved it, man, because it just set in that world and gives you more backstory to it.
I think like a sort of origin of like how this all started with all the Spartans and all that stuff, I think would be pretty cool for a TV series.
Oh, so it stands for United Nations Space Command. So it doesn't say Navy in it.
There you go. Stupid Navy. A split screen mode was added to allow 2 players to cooperatively play through Halo's campaign. This game also includes 5 competitive multiplayer modes, which all can be customized for between 2 and 16 players. Up to 4 players may play split screen on one Xbox, and further players can join using a system link feature that allows up to 4 Xbox consoles to be connected together in a local area network. Halo lacks artificially intelligent game bots as well, as it was released before the launch of Xbox Live online multiplayer service. Therefore, LAN parties are needed to reach the game's 16-player limit. And I think this was one of the things most of us remember about Halo was taking your Xbox to a friend's house, connecting that bad boy up.
Yep. Oh shit.
It was such a, because I did LAN parties around this time, but with PCs. I'd take my PC to my friend's house because
fuck that, imagine lugging it.
Well, I had
early
this
2000 PC around. Oh shit.
I had this friend who like literally lived 2 doors away from me, 2 houses away from me, and his parents were like super like computer nerds, so they were playing like FPS games on the PC and stuff. They were super into PC gaming. So I would take my PC over to their house because they would like have all this like sort of LAN party stuff all set up ready to rock, because they had like 4 computers, and this was
nuts. 4
late
computers
90s, early 2000s.
Loaded.
Yeah, it was nuts. And we would play Diablo 1, and then Diablo 2 came out. That was like a main one. Delta Force, LAN Warrior, all that stuff. So LAN parties for me were with PCs, but I remember a friend in high school who had an Xbox, and I would go to his, and then some other friends would bring their Xbox, and then we'd play just online. It was kind of like playing GoldenEye 64 split screen, but with like
it was
Halo
like
stuff.
four players on the one console and screen was.
Yep.
I mean, now that I look back at it was garbage. Like the size screens that we had.
Well, look at your computer screen right now. It was smaller than that.
Yeah,
and split that into 4.
But as a kid, that was the pinnacle, man. It was so fun. Like, there's multiple times I remember at a friend's house, and we'd have like 9 or 10 of us over, and just the 2 Xboxes and the 2 TVs, and you'd be playing on, and it was Blood Gulch, man. Blood Gulch was the multiplayer map.
Yep.
And that's where the fucking boys became men, right? In Blood Gulch. Capture the flag, Blood Gulch. And you just play that shit for hours, and then obviously whoever got the least amount of kills, or whoever didn't, out of the losing team, they tagged out and someone else got in, and it was just fucking. That shit doesn't happen anymore, man. Everyone's so disconnected now.
Back in my day, yeah,
I remember the last
had
time
that,
I played video games next to someone.
Yeah, I'm always down for a LAN party, but I remember not so much Halo, but I did a lot of that with GoldenEye 64 and the original Smash Brothers as well, where we'd all get together and play some video games.
64, but I played GoldenEye at a friend's house all the time, and that was good shit too. That was a great game.
You'd be like, ass slaps only, bitches. Like, no.
Love job all the way. I love it.
Or you do like Golden Gun only, like 1 shot, 1 kill, baby. I'm coming for you. But yeah, that was super cool. And yeah, as you say, we got internet now, and we don't have to be anywhere near each other, which is it's a good thing. Sometimes it's a pretty lonely thing too. Like,
I think there's just something special that is lost when you're not when you're not playing together in the same rooms anymore.
Yeah,
because there's just that bounce back a lot more in face-to-face kind of socializing compared to obviously just playing online.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's, if you watch listen to other podcasts or watch other YouTube videos of people like Funhouse and all those kind of like big group channels, Achievement Hunter and stuff like that, because they're, well, most of them not anymore because of 2020, but watch the stuff, they're all together and they're all just like feeding off each other's energy. There's it's very different to people just doing it online. You can definitely tell there's like a different vibe.
Yeah, definitely.
I think the last LAN party I did or had, I remember when the Division 1 came out, and I took all my PC stuff over to Josh's house, and we played Division 1 for like a whole weekend. I think we each took like the Friday and Monday off, or whenever it came out. I don't know. We took like 4 days off, and we just we smashed Division 1.
That would have been awesome.
It was good. I guess Division. I love the Division. I'll always love the Division. I kind of always want to play it again, but then I'm like, do I even have the time to play the Division 2? And I'm like, but it's so good.
From memory, I would say the last time I really got together with a friend and played a game long session would have been the early 2010. When did it was Baldur's Gate 2.
Jeez.
Baldur's Gate 2 Dark Alliance came out. It was like 2013, I want to say. And my friend Cameron and I, he was my best mate at the time, and we played all those games. We played the first one all the way through together.
2013.
Yeah, because that would, mind you, LAN wasn't LAN. It was just a two-player game.
Yep.
But we sat down, we bought that game, and we sat down, and we could fucking, in one session, I think it was over 2 or 3 days, just completed the whole campaign. And it was fucking unreal. I love those kind of over what are they called? The top-down
Isometric,
yeah, like the dungeon crawler type games. It was just good shit.
That's why I'm waiting for Diablo 4, baby. Hopefully it's good. Looks pretty good.
I haven't played Diablo 3 though, so I don't know if I missed out on that one. I heard
Diablo 3 is good. It's really good. Is it Diablo 2? No. I wish Diablo 3 was more like Diablo 2. Yes. Diablo 4. I don't think they'll ever do a Diablo 2 style Diablo anymore. Because it's just not. It's not very easy to get into.
Yeah,
it's very niche. That's why they have games like Path of Exile. But I tried Path of Exile, and that shit's confusing as all hell. I don't know what's going on. There's like a skill fucking. There's a skill hotel. It's not even a tree. There's too many skills. It's a bit overwhelming. I think Diablo 4 might not be as casual as Diablo 3, but I think it'll be more casual than Diablo 2. But even though Blizzard, they kind of shit at the moment, I'm still looking forward to Diablo.
Well, you don't have a phone? Fuck.
Well, you don't have mobile? Dickheads. Can't believe that, man. They Blizzard have just been screwing up big time lately, but this isn't a Blizzard.
Isn't it funny how that happens though? Like there's all these companies that when I was younger were just like the pinnacle. Everyone loved Blizzard.
Yep.
Fucking who makes the Elder Scrolls games? I can't remember. I can't call their names off the top of my head now.
Bethesda.
Bethesda. Yeah. All those got like those BioWare. All these games that made like the Mass Effect series. All the early Elder Scrolls games, fucking Fallout games. All these games were just so beloved. World of Warcraft. That's just, and then nowadays they're just like everyone's shit. Fuck everybody.
You know why? Money.
Yeah. Greedy cunts.
Blizzard got into bed with Activision.
Yeah.
Bethesda. I guess Microsoft just bought Bethesda, but I think Bethesda have gotten away with too much for too long, and then they brought out Fallout 76, and then that just blew up in their faces, and they're like, what? We've always released games like this, and we've always been loved, and now people are like, yeah, we're not dealing with that shit anymore. And then EA, ruined, Mass Effect series pretty much. Those developers. So it's those bigger, money grubby, hungry companies that are ruining it a little bit for those much beloved companies that we all loved. And then you got people like CD Projekt Red. They're tinkering. They're not making too many people happy with all these delays, but hopefully when Cyberpunk actually comes out, we'll all forget whatever about those delays. Who gives a shit? The game's awesome, blah blah blah.
I suppose that has to be the key though, doesn't it? So if it with all these delays, if it comes out and it's like like below average, then I think that'll really hurt them. But if it comes out and people hail it as the fucking greatest video game of all time, then
Messiah.
Obviously CD Projekt Red, everyone loves them again.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're putting themselves in a little bit of a hole with that, because if they release anything below an 8, Jesus Christ.
I think it also helps CD Projekt Red that they have stuck to the old school model, and they haven't introduced any microtransactions in any of their games. Like they do, you buy the game, which 9 times out of 10 is a full game as it releases. There's plenty of content. The default game itself is awesome, and then they release decent sized DLCs that you also pay for, which are usually worth the money that you pay for them.
100%. I think that's why we love them, because it's like, you know what? The Witcher 3, you get that, it's a full game, and then the DLCs just add the DLCs are almost like their own game, which is pretty nuts.
Like, not to shit on a game that I love. Like Sea of Thieves launched with fucking nothing. It was the barest bones of a game, and yet it launched at AAA prices. It was full price game when it launched.
That's why I got shit on.
And then obviously they've added updates and some good updates, but then they follow through in this fucking Emporium. They're like, oh, we got to support the game somehow, which most times I can understand, but then
don't focus on it.
It's just the updates because everyone's like, oh yeah, but you get free updates, but I mean, they're not technically free because people are still buying shit from the Emporium.
Like me.
So while I get free updates, because mind you, even then I don't get free updates. I've bought heaps of shit from the Emporium myself.
Yeah.
But it's just like...
We're going to have to do a whole Sea of Thieves episode, me and Divine.
The content they've released, in my opinion, in the last couple of months, has just been too heavily sided on the Emporium side, which is when I think games become in trouble. So they're focusing too much on microtransactions and not enough on content, is when these kind of games as a service games tend to go off the rails a little bit.
I think what's going to happen, it's going to be a make or break year for them next year, because they've taken a break from giving us content for this month and maybe next month as well, from what I'm hearing. So if they're actually taking a break from like adding little things, they can either come out and add something really good, which Falcor seems to think they're going to be adding something really good. But if they take this time off and release something quite average, it's going to be like, well, what are you guys doing?
What I can throw down right now, and I can guarantee you, is there will be an update just for Christmas, and that fucking Emporium will be chock full of Christmas themed things to buy. I can guarantee it. I'd put money on it.
I'm gonna buy it, aren't I? God damn it.
There's gonna be.
Me in, man. They suck me in.
I'd be surprised if there's not 1 or 2 ship sets, like Christmas themed. There'll be a new weapon set. Obviously, some kind of Christmas themed pets, some emotes, maybe even a stupid Santa costume or some shit.
Ooh, Santa costume. They get people like me.
Oh, dude, trust me. A lot of times I'm always tempted, but it's just I get to a point where I just kind of give the shit. So
I give myself the shits from buying stuff.
Have some willpower, Chris. Don't buy the shit. Just don't do it.
I press the buy button. I'm like, oh, God damn it, I'm the problem.
Those fucking barrel emotes, the chug and the thing, is the first things I bought in ages. That's because I was playing with you fuckheads when you bought it.
Divine and I were like, oh, look how cool these emotes, and Chris is like, God damn it.
Well, it was the same thing with fucking. I am so not against. I don't like buying stupid cosmetics if I don't want them or don't need them. But back when Fortnite first came out, and I was playing with a couple of my friends, they were just like, "Oh, look at this fucking skin! Oh, I'm gonna buy this skin." I'm like, "That's so fucking stupid." And then we play a game, and they're running around this stupid fucking dinosaur skin. I'm like, "Oh, fuck's sake! I'm gonna buy this fucking stupid $20 dinosaur skin so I can run around with them big cool dinosaurs."
Doesn't make me a better player. But I have to. And it's funny because I buy like cosmetic items, and then I just rock like a typical pleb sailor outfit and sailor weapons.
You don't even use them.
I don't even use them. I'm like, oh yeah, I have pets. I better pull those out because I spent like $6 on them. Yeah. Stupid. See if these.
I always forget about the pets. I always forget about the pets too.
Yeah, me too. But then like a lot of the stuff they add, like the cosmetics and pets, it hinders the PvP experience, because if you're rocking up glowing like an idiot, or you have your pet out like an idiot, or you have like these crazy weapon skins that block like half your screen, you're not going to be a good PvP player. That's why I rock sailor outfits, sailor skins, keep my pets in their Pokeball.
I always pull the pets out if we're planning on just doing some PvE stuff.
If we're chilling, yeah.
Chilling, but yeah, mind you, I can't even PvE if I've got a weapon skin that just blocks half the screen and is stupid. I can't use them. Same with cannons.
Yeah.
Even if we just sail around, can't use them if they're too big and too stupid. Just not. Go in the trash. Fucking
trash. I can't return you for my money. God damn it.
I can't use you. And it'd be nice if there was some kind of way for you to test them or preview them.
Yeah.
So you can actually see what the model looks like in game.
Because I've been burnt.
There's so many times you're like, oh, hey, that looks cool. And then you buy it and it's like, oh, no, never mind. It's garbage.
What were those like those cursed boat things I bought?
Oh, the State of Decay ones?
Yeah, I was like, oh, this looks sick. You get the cannons like, ooh, I can't see anything.
Yeah.
Send help.
Somebody help me.
Or the Battletoads ones. I mean, I got those for free.
It's okay if you get them for free. It's just when you have to pay for when you pay for them is when they're shit.
They were trash. Anyway, enough of that.
Tangent, Sea of Thieves.
We're gonna have to do a Sea of Thieves episode for sure. The reception. Yeah. Halo received
back to Halo.
Yeah, back to Halo. Halo received universal acclaim with a 97 on Metacritic and receiving 9 and 10s from all the big gaming publications. While Halo was not an instant runaway success on release, try and say that fast, kids.
No thanks.
It had a I can't even speak English. It had a very high attach rate for the Xbox. During the 2 months following Halo's release, the game sold alongside more than 50% of Xbox consoles. 1 million units had been sold roughly 5 months after release, a faster pace than any previous 6th generation console games. The game sold 3 million copies worldwide by July 2003, 4 million by January 2004, and 5 million by November 2005. By July 2006, the Xbox version had sold 4.2 million copies and earned $170 million USD in the United States alone.
That's pretty fucking nuts.
Halo is now regarded as one of the greatest video games of all time.
Of all time!
Which we can agree. Like, there's not many people that would say something bad about Halo. That might be more nostalgia as well, but I don't know, it's just...
I think across the board, it's just a great game.
Yeah. You have to think about it for the time as well. You can't be like, well, look at these shit graphics.
Yeah, and it doesn't play very smoothly. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, what game and that generation played as amazing as they do now? You know what I mean?
I mean, that game played pretty smooth too.
Pretty fucking yeah. I think that not only was the story great, but one of the things that really pulled people in was how good and clean the gunplay was. For a game of that age, you know what I mean? It's like it's that generation's Destiny, which obviously makes sense.
Makes 100% sense
because it's same studio. But when the core gameplay like that is so fun and enjoyable, then it does. A lot of times it doesn't really matter if the story is lackluster or, again, a la Destiny. People still play it. But Halo had a great story. At least I thought it had a great.
And we'll get into that story in a second. And I think it's because I don't want to I guess I do, but I don't. I think back then gamers were nicer. We weren't, and I've been like this now, and I think we're all a little bit too entitled.
We're definitely a bit more jaded now as well. Yeah, Entitled's really good as well.
Like, we've had so many good games over the decades, and the stuff gamers get is just unbelievable. So many good experiences. Back then, it was a good experience maybe twice a year.
Yeah.
And now we get it every week. Every day something new is releasing. Entitled is like one of the words I can think of. Not everyone is like that, but I think deep down, even I feel like that. I'm like, well, this game's shit, but that's just, I don't know.
Oh, for sure. I mean, like, back on the tangent again, I shit talk Sea of Thieves a lot, but for a game that I pay $30 for, I've probably put in over 1,000 hours. You know what I mean? What game could you get there back then to get so much game time out of. You know what I mean? So I've definitely well and truly got my money's worth out,
100%.
and yet I still criticize it. You know what I mean? So I think there's definitely entitlement in everything when it comes to video games now.
Yeah, but I think I've said this about you and Divine, that you criticize for valid reasons and give reasons for the criticism. And there's a difference between that and people just going, well, this game's shit. It's like, why? It's like, it's trash.
Because I don't like it, so you shouldn't like it.
Like, why though? Like, what's? But I like, and then compared to you guys, I'm pretty easygoing things. I don't let things get to me that much, but I do want to try and be a little bit more critical in the future, where I kind of just like say with don't want to make you mad, but the hit reg and Sea of Thieves, where I'm like, you know what, that's just a thing that happens. Some people get very salty. Blunderbuss.
Yeah.
Swords.
Yeah. It's one of those things where I suppose it comes down to the core gameplay of a game.
And
it's just, I understand there's so many moving parts in this game, but when things don't line up, and I suppose, it's probably on me. This game is a PvE game, and I think I personally take the PvP too seriously sometimes. Like, how can you try and be competitive when half the time in fights, the game decides who wins because 2 out of my 3 sniper shots didn't register. You know what I mean?
Oh, you're using a sword? Well, that'd be a shame if it didn't work.
Yeah, fucking. Oh, you're trying to block? To get fucked. You're just gonna hit through your blocks. It's just. But I suppose that's on me. I think this game. It's not an esports game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Until they fix that shit, I think the naval combat is great, and there's definitely a huge skill gap there, where a skilled crew or naval side can just fucking shit on someone who don't really know what they're doing.
Well, let's name off a few people. Mixel, Mason.
Oh, dude, that's a god. Well, his cannon shots are ridiculous.
Like, you watch some of these streamers and YouTubers, and they're just like, how are they hitting every single time, multiple different distances? Like, man, it's unreal.
It certainly is. And I don't think, as far as I'm aware, I don't think there's any cannon hit reg. So I think that's usually fine. I mean, there might be, and I just never noticed it, because you can never really tell if your cannon hits.
Well,
if your cannon shot
every time a cannonball hits me, it hits me. It hits me hard.
There might be some weird issues with the mast.
The mast hit reg. It's not like, I feel like more times it hits when it doesn't register.
Yeah.
Than other way around, where it would suck if it registered and you saw it hit the mast and then it wasn't going down.
The mast stays up, yeah.
You'd be like, well, I guess I'm playing something different today. Anyway, we're definitely gonna do a Sea of Thieves episode next year. Chris and Divine.
That's right. We're supposed to be focusing on Halo. Halo's great. We love Halo. I love Halo.
We'll get mad. We'll get mad then. So we're just talking about the story of Halo, and I've got like the basic story down here. I mean, there's a lot more to it. There's books. There's so much lore out there for Halo, and that's really cool. But this is Halo 1. I'm not even going to call it Combat Evolved anymore. It's Halo 1. So Halo 1 takes place in the 26th century. Faster than light travel called slipspace allows the human race to colonize planets other than Earth, which is typical human trash thing to do.
Sounds about right.
The planet Reach serves as an interstellar hub of scientific and military activity. Although, by the way, spoilers.
Spoilers for a super old thing.
If you want to skip spoilers, I'll put a time somewhere. But hopefully you've already played it. I mean, go play it. Just go play it. The United Nations Space Command, the UNSC, develops a secret program to create augmented super soldiers known as Spartans, which was Chris was talking about before. But more than 20 years before the beginning of the game, a technological advanced collective of alien races called the Covenant begins a holy war against humanity, declaring them an affront to their gods. Humanity's military experiences a series of crushing defeats. Although the Spartans are effective against the Covenant, there are too few in numbers to turn the tide. In the year of 2552, Covenant forces attack Reach and destroy the colony. The starship Pillar of Autumn escapes the planet with the Spartan Master Chief Petty Officer John 117. The ship initiates a jump into slipspace, hoping to lead the enemy away from Earth. There might be some hopping, I'm not too sure.
They're hopping in.
Just hopping away.
Yeah, that's basically the whole campaign of Halo Reach. It's a prequel game. It's a great game too.
Oh, the attack on Reach is the whole game?
Yep, yeah. You play as I don't know if there's Spartan 1s in Reach or if they're also Spartan 2s. But yeah, you play as in Noble Squad, a whole squadron of Spartans. And they're on Reach and they're getting attacked by the Covenant.
Ooh, pretty cool.
And it has the fucking Halo Reach has the best fucking end. I loved it because it's like, at the end of the game, it's basically, you are alive, everyone else is fucking dead, everyone else is dead, and you basically have to just defend off Covenant for as long as you can until you die, and then the game ends.
Nice.
But it's just like, it's so cool because you're like, I don't know, it's kind of like a horde mode in a game that didn't really exist at the time.
And do you play as John 117?
He's in the game, I think, in like they mention him, but no, you play and it's called Noble Squad, or no, I can't remember exactly you play in a group of Spartans, and I think maybe you play as Nobles. I can't remember exactly. But there's a whole bunch of different Spartans in their team.
And better shots than stormtroopers. That's all I can say. Useless stormtroopers.
Yeah, stormtroopers.
The game begins as Pillar of Autumn exits slipspace. So this is when the actual, game
Halo
starts. Its crew discovers a large ring world structure of unknown origin. Dun dun dun. The Covenant pursues the Autumn and attacks with the ship heavily damaged. The Autumn's captain, Jacob Keyes. Did I say his name? Keyes?
Yeah, Keyes, yeah.
Entrusts the ship's artificial intelligence known as Cortana to the Master Chief in order to prevent the Covenant from discovering the location of Earth. Keyes orders the crew to abandon the Autumn and pilots the ship to a crash landing on the ring world. And I believe this is when you first, see the world of Halo and all its glory.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts too when you step out and you can actually see, like when you're on the ground, you see the planet ring kind of bend around in the background. Looks really cool.
And I mean, for the time of today's standards, not too great, but at the time, you step out of that ship and you're like, wow, this is like so magical looking.
Yeah, it was definitely I don't know, ahead of its time, I suppose, or back when I played it, I was like, oh my god, it was so cool.
It's
like
real.
The graphics, I thought the graphics at that point were just unreal.
It's not going to get better than this.
We have peaked. It doesn't get any better than this.
On the ring's surface, Master Chief and Katana rescue other survivors to help organize the counteroffensive. Learning that Keyes has been captured by the Covenant, Master Chief and a small contingent of soldiers rescue him from the Covenant cruiser Truth and
Reconciliation.
There you go, I just had to cough.
Truth and Reconciliation.
Keyes reveals that the Covenant called the ring world Halo, and that they believe it to be a weapon. Intent on stopping the Covenant from using Halo, Keyes searches for a potential weapons cache. Cache? How do you even say that word?
Cache? I think it's correct.
Cache?
Ooh, a cache. That sounds fancy, doesn't
it's like Tajay.
Hey guys, there's a weapon cache.
It's like, what?
What?
Cache?
Yeah, I think it's cache. I think weapons cache. Is that right?
Cache. While Master Chief and Katana mount an assault on the Ringworld's control room, Katana enters Halo's computer systems and after discovering something, sends Master Chief to find and stop Keyes from continuing his search. I'm getting the coughs. Searching for the captain, Master Chief encounters a new enemy, a parasitic flood.
Oh, dude. 11-year-old me, fucking nightmares.
Yeah?
I remember Oh fuck yeah, the flood were terrifying. Especially I feel like I can remember that whole level is darkness, man, and the flood are like face hugger things from Aliens.
Yep.
And have like big ones that explode and giant ones. It gave me nightmares. It was scary as shit.
Still get nightmares from the flood.
The flood, and they just like come at you everywhere, and they're all over the ground and all on the walls and shit.
And it's dark and scary.
It's dark and scary, and you're like, oh my god, it's so much flood.
And you're like little Chris pissing.
And they jump on you and eat you and shit.
Nice, that's what you want.
Yeah, it was good shit.
The release of the flood prompts Halo's caretaker, the AI-343 Guilty Spark, to enlist Master Chief's help in activating Halo's defenses. After Master Chief retrieves the ring's activation index, Guilty Spark transports him back to Halo's control room. Katana intervenes before Master Chief can activate the ring. She has discovered the purpose. The purpose of the installation is to destroy all sentient life in the galaxy, starving the flood of potential hosts. When Cortana refuses to surrender Halo's activation index, Guilty Spark attacks her and Master Chief.
Damn Guilty Spark. Guilty Spark always reminded me of the light from Destiny. He kind of had that same look. The little light. What's it called?
The Ghost?
The Ghost, yeah, that's it. The Ghost. Yeah, they had that similar. The Guilty Spark has that similar look. I wonder if that's where they got inspiration from.
Yeah, they're probably like, you know what? Guilty Spark's pretty cool. Let's just do that. And call it something different. And that had Peter Dinklage. Because...
Or is it, mind you, Guilty Spark also now looks like... what's it called? Is it from Portal that I'm thinking of?
Oh, GLaDOS?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just generic floating head thing. So it might not be as groundbreaking as I remember it being.
It looks like a mix between... It does. It looks a mix between like Ghost and GLaDOS.
Yeah.
Kind of cool looking though. I like it. Where was I? Somewhere,
speaking about Halo.
Oh yeah. Guilty Spark attacked Master Chief. To stop Halo's activation, Master Chief and Katana decide to destroy the installation, needing Keyes' command codes to destroy the Autumn and Halo with it. Master Chief returns to Truth and Reconciliation, only to find that Keyes has been assimilated by the flood. No! Did you cry?
Nah, no one liked Commander Keyes. He was a dickhead.
Oh, he's a dickhead? Nah,
dickhead, fuck him.
Then. Good. I'm glad he got murdered. Assimilated. Retrieving the codes for the captain's remains, Master Chief returns to the Autumn and manually disables the ship's reactors, narrowly escaping the ensuing detonation in one of the Autumn's fighters. While the majority of the remaining Covenant, UNSC forces, and Infected Flood are destroyed along with the Halo installation, Katana justifies their sacrifices and believes their work to be finished. But the Master Chief states that they are only just getting started. Guilty Spark is shown to have survived Halo's destruction in a post-credit scene. And that's the end.
That is the end. That last bit of when you're on the Warthog and you're driving away, that's where that fucking sweet-ass music comes in. And it just gets you like fucking, you're like, woo, yeah!
Like Star Wars.
Gets you real hyped.
Like, yes! But then, Guilty Spark survived. Does he appear in Halo 2?
I honestly can't remember. It's been a while since I played Halo 2. Didn't stick with me as much as Halo 1, so I can't really recall.
Someone let us know in the comments somewhere. So yeah, quite like, it's pretty. I made it pretty compact. That's the basic story. If you want to go play it yourself, I would definitely highly recommend it. It's definitely an older game you can play very easily these days.
Oh, and from what I've seen, the remastered version just makes it look even better. So there's really, now that you can get it remastered, you don't have to deal with 2000s graphics. There's no reason that if you haven't played Halo, I would at least recommend Halos 1 to 3. They're fucking amazing games.
You should be able to play in co-op, yeah?
Yeah, you can. Yeah. And then if you can play it on easy, and a fucking 5-year-old can walk through it. A lot of the enemies run away from you, or you can just punch them to death. It's ridiculously easy. But then if you're a bit older and you want a challenge, there's like legendary mode. I remember playing as a kid, was fucking impossible. It was so hard. You just die like that. It's like one shot and you're fucking dead. It changes the game so much. And then they have all the skulls that you can get that have a whole different options, which make it even more difficult. And it's just Achievement Hunter do lasso gameplays of the Halo games, and you should definitely watch those too because they're fucking amazing.
Send me some links and I'll put them in the show notes.
Because they do well, because it takes them. Because lasso is like all the skulls on the hardest difficulty, and obviously Achievement Hunter started. Well, Rooster Teeth started the whole red versus blue, so a lot of those guys are really into Halo, so they're relatively good at Halo. And then the lasso plays are still just nuts. Like it's so difficult.
Yeah, you see a lot of streamers and YouTube videos like doing Halo, runs on the most of it's like kind of like doing Doom, like on the most like the hell settings or whatever. And that's just I didn't have the patience all the time to put myself through that. I would get very sad very fast. I'm like, well, kind of like Dark Souls. Like if you want to play a Dark Souls version of Halo, do it on the legendary. The legendary or something. So yeah, that's the end of Halo.
Halo.
To this point in the podcast, I would ask a viewer submitted question. So anyone listening, anyone watching, if you have a question you would like to ask myself and whatever guest we have for the week,
not me.
Sometimes it might be Chris.
It's always me.
Definitely ask in the comments of the YouTube video. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me anywhere. Just be like, hey, I want to ask you a question.
Got a fucking question for you, big tuna.
You know what? If it's a game related, even if it's not game related, maybe I'll answer it. Maybe not.
Maybe I won't. Fuck you. I don't know.
So the question I have personally came up with, and kind of a cool discussion, and I think we probably both agree on this one is,
how dare you presume what I'm going to think? Would
Halo work as a Destiny-style games as service game, and what would you like to see them take the franchise moving? Where would you like to see them take the franchise moving forward? What a question! So many words wrong.
I think obviously it would work as a games as a service style because I mean Destiny is a thing, and isn't that? It's basically the same thing.
It's basically Halo.
It's basically, I mean, it's made by the same guy. I think I would, again, I haven't really played Destiny a lot in the last year or so, but I think for Halo to be as a Destiny style game, if they wanted to be that and be better, I think they would focus more on story. Because I think one thing that Destiny is really lacking is great story content. Because the gunplay is clean, the multiplayer is pretty good, but then half the time, well, you know who fucking even knows what's going on in their story?
I don't know any of the characters' names.
There's like what? There's the Vanguard guys.
All I know is Peter Dinklage, and he's not even in there anymore.
Well, Dinklage, they replaced him.
So sad. I'll always be fucking upset about that.
Yeah, Dinklebot all the way. Fuck Nolan Northbot. No one cares about him.
Nolan North has enough.
Yeah,
he's everything else. Just
yeah,
sad. Yeah, it would 100% work as a Destiny style game. I think. I don't know. Well, I personally don't really know where they're going to be taking Halo Infinite, but from what I'm hearing and rumors going around, that Halo Infinite might be like the last Halo game, and they're going to treat it as some sort of, games of service thing where they add story content and story expansions and stuff, even though it's not really Bungie working on Halo anymore.
What's it called? 343 Industries? 343 Industries or something along those lines? I don't know.
So that's the rumor going around.
I played Halo 4 and I thought Halo 4 was alright. But I didn't really like a lot where the story was going. And is Infinite the 5th one or the 6th one?
6, I believe, because I think Halo 5 wasn't too well received story-wise.
Yeah. Well, even then, it started to get a bit too stupid in the game. I suppose they wanted to change up the gameplay, but a lot of it became advanced warfare, with like the jetpack jumping and ground pound, and that was just, for me, that wasn't Halo. So it's just like, I don't know. I didn't really enjoy that one, and I don't think I even bought it. I think I played it at a friend's house, and then I was like, I'm not buying this game.
It's trash. Well, that was like, you know, when like Infinite Warfare and, you know, Halo 5 and even like Titanfall,
Gross.
They all came out, and it's like, so many jetpacks and.
Yeah, I'll never understand why that was a thing. I never enjoyed that at all.
I think it would have been cool for like a little bit, but I think, you know, when they base your whole game movement mechanics around it, it was like, okay, I'm kind of over it now.
Those periods, especially the Call of Duty, Infinite Warfare and Advanced Warfare, and then
they did it in Black Ops 3 as well.
That was my least favorite Call of Duty games. It got so fucking stupid.
And I mean,
it was just like,
you know, some people might like the stupidity, but it's hard. It's hard when you're trying to play, like, you go in to play a Call of Duty game and dudes are flying around like Batman. Like, what is going on?
I'm not 16 anymore. I don't have 6 hours a day to play Call of Duty, and getting shit on by the little fucking kids, and they start swearing at you and shit. That's just not fun for anybody.
They kill you and then like say some mean words. Like, what? Yeah. Man, I'm 32. I don't need this in my life.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck this.
My knees hurt.
What? I can't hear you, Sonny. What are you saying?
Any Call of Duty game, I turn voice chat just off straight away, permanently. Yeah. Stupid Call of Duty. I would like to see Halo Infinite go into this style of games of service. I think it has a lot of potential, you know, not only for, you know, adding different story and lore over many years and stuff, but the customizations, the equipment, the different guns, the skins. I know we're whinging about it before, but I kind of like that stuff, but I also hate it. But if they do it well,
it could be really well. Really good. It could be really good.
If they do it well and do it, see the thing. To bring I'm going to mention Sea of Thieves so much. The problem with Sea of Thieves is it's not just the Emporium. It's the fact that it's just the Emporium, and they're not adding anything fantastic in the normal game. They've only just added in those soul weapons and soul equipment. Like,
do you want to know something that's even more fucked up about that? So you're like, the best things I've added lately is that soul flame shit.
Yep.
Originally, all that soul flame shit was in the cartel market.
Yeah.
Like, what's the cartel? It was in the import cartel. Damn you, Star Wars.
The cartel. Well, imagine a lightsaber looking like that bad boy.
It was in the Emporium. It wasn't until like after a week or two of the insiders fucking raging that all this new stuff was in the Emporium that they put it into the game.
And I think that's where the majority of our complaints and a lot of people's complaints here is that they're not adding anything in game, and they've only just added something in game, but that's because people are whinging. But it was when was before the Soul Flame stuff? When was the last time we got any good in-game cosmetics? Probably the Ash and stuff.
I think the Emissary update when we got the full ship set for each of the ships, like for the factions.
That's it.
Probably that. Because the action stuff was just like what gave you sails and some shitty fucking copy and pasted tattoos. I wouldn't call that good cosmetic content.
No. I think that's where, like, I obviously also haven't played Destiny properly in quite a while, but that you said that's kind of where Destiny was going to. Like, they were putting a lot of their stuff behind, like, paywalls.
Like Destiny 1, before, because Destiny 1 went for about a year and a bit or so before they added that fucking
store.
I can't remember what it's called, their Eververse store. And you look at the guy, your guy runs up to you in the tower, and this guy's got the fucking full raid armor, and you go, this guy fucks. He's done all the good shit.
Yeah.
His character looks fucking awesome. He's done all the late game shit. But these days, Destiny got worse and worse every year. They still do cool raid armors, that's still a thing. But then a lot of the medium game stuff just kind of fell apart and was just garbage, and replaced by a lot of the cooler stuff was in the Eververse store.
Yeah, that's what I noticed too when I was playing.
Destiny, though, if you were a fucking tryhard enough and you played enough, a lot of the times you can get a lot of the Eververse stuff without actually spending real money, because they had their Bright Dust.
Yeah.
And things go on there, and then they have a Bright Dust store, which is like a random selectment of stuff from the Eververse store, which you can buy. Is it refreshed weekly or monthly? I can't remember. Which you could buy with them with Bright Dust. So you had a chance if you played long enough to buy that cool armor set you want from the Eververse store without having to spend real money.
I think that's just what we want. We want the option to buy it within in-game gold currency.
Give me some like crazy conversion rate of like 10 million gold is 100 ancient coins or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, something nutty.
So that they can still make money, I suppose, if they want. Which obviously, they want to make money. But give because there are plenty of. I mean, I'm sitting on 36 million or something at the moment, but there are plenty of hardcore players out there who could probably pick up a free pet every now and again, just because they play so much and they have so much gold.
Well, the last I heard, and this was probably last week, with someone like Pace, it was said that he has well over 100 million gold.
Yes, that's ridiculous. I suppose, I mean, they probably never expect people to play as much as he plays, because, you know, who plays video games for a living? Very few people.
For a living, yeah, 1%.
Yeah, so, and even then, I suppose there are also the people who make no money and still play a shitload anyway, because they're living off the dole or whatever the fuck they get money from the government.
Or little children.
Or little children with their daddy's credit cards and a lot of time to play.
Yeah.
But
that was so good about one of the Falcor videos was the money sink, and I think you've mentioned that all the time. It's like a game needs a gold sink. Needs somewhere to spend your gold. Especially
since this game is like a cosmetic based progression system. Like there's no I can start playing, I can create a very brand new account now, and the only difference to that account will be to the one I have now really is the cosmetics. Like there's nothing I can't do on that account that I can do on my one that's had 1,000 hours into it. It would just be I don't have the titles and I don't have the cosmetics that I have.
Yeah, it's like a good thing and also a bad thing.
Without a steady influx of cosmetics, because when was the last time any of the vendors got a cosmetic up, got new cosmetics?
They were doing it. They're doing it quite frequently before the Emporium.
Exactly. And how hard is, even if it doesn't have to be crazy new fucking models, how hard could it be though to just give me, hey, there's this pants. I want this pants, but I want it in black. Yeah. Let me dye my clothes or something. Hey, I have this garment set that I want. It costs me. Let me spend 10,000 gold to make these pants black. I want these pants in black. I want this jacket in green.
I want my pants in black.
I'm all black. I'm fucking sweaty Tuck Lord.
Yeah.
I want all black clothes.
Yeah. Well, that's yeah. I don't want to go on too much Sea of Thieves, but that's what I'm kind of hoping with this content break, that they're gonna work on something actually meaty and legitimate. But I definitely want to do some YouTube videos on Sea of Thieves myself. I definitely want to do a Sea of Thieves deep dive on the podcast with yourself and Divine. Eventually, I think that'd be pretty fun. Deep diving into that development and absolutely destroying that game with our thoughts.
The funny thing is, though, I really enjoy Sea of Thieves. It's
yeah, me too.
I suppose I have a lot of negative things to say about it, but I think that's because it just has so much potential that's being wasted. You know what I mean?
With
and
shit.
It kind of gets me going where there's Sea of Thieves at the moment is in a very unique place where there's not a lot of games out there that are like this. You know what I mean? Like what other games are out there that offers this open world pirate game?
Oh, blazing. Yeah, we need Sea of Thieves, and we need it to flourish.
And I really enjoy the goofy colorful art style that Rare's relatively famous for. So it's all that kind of stuff. The game looks good. It plays relatively well, and hit rate just issues aside. But like, so if you're just PvEing, the game's great. You know what I mean? The PvE content is there. It's just, I don't know, lacking.
If you're new to, like, if you jumped in fresh to Sea of Thieves right now, you would have the best fucking year of your life. There is so much to do, but we're coming from players who have done it all and done it all multiple times, where there's only so many flame hearts you can do. I mean, flame heart's probably the better one. There's only so many gold hoarder vaults you can do. There's only so many of that. That's why they need I think they need raids, but
Oh, I mean, right now, if you bought this game right now, it's worth every penny that you paid for it.
Yeah, 100%.
There's so much content in this game now compared to when it was released. Which I mean,
even
in 2
when we
years,
started playing,
that should. Oh yeah, for sure. When did we start playing? Like,
2 years
I feel like it was late last year, maybe.
I think it was like mid last year. Early to mid last year, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just. I forget. Well, even then, since that time, the game has changed dramatically.
Wow, 2 words in one.
Yeah, dramatically.
Yeah, it really has.
Yeah. Fucking so dramatically that it's not unrecognizable, but it just plays so different.
Yeah, I think because we've gotten actually really good now.
And mind you, one thing that still shits me to tears is that after so long, we still don't have fucking Harpoon cosmetics. What the fuck, man? Why don't I have Harpoon cosmetics?
That's what I'm hoping for, mate. Give me some, because I would have some obnoxious Harpoon cosmetics. Give me the Battletoads goddamn harpoons. I don't need to aim my harpoons.
I want the harpoon to be a fist. So it shoots out a string attached with a little fist.
I want the back of it to be as small as a golf ball, and then have it open up the size of just, I don't know, a beach ball. Just this like stupid, absurd harpoon gun. That's what I want. Or the opposite.
The harpoon came out ages ago. I can't believe that there's no harpoon cosmetics yet. It's so simple.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to blame COVID for most of it, but it's the COVID, and it's also, I think they're putting their focus too much on monthly updates, where I think they were screwing themselves over with these monthly updates and not adding anything substantial. So they can't. They're probably thinking about it, but they're like, we don't have time because we're gonna do this gold vault thing.
Well, see, that always seems to be the biggest thing in game development, isn't it? Everyone always runs out of time. I feel like if you want to do something, just fucking do it.
Do it until it's done.
Yeah, just do it till it's done and done properly. Why does everyone have to be like, we're gonna rush it out, go, get it out, rush it, go, make sure it's, and then all these shit comes with just more bugs and content that's garbage. Like, there's a lot of those monthly updates that are super lackluster.
It's because we're old men now. We come from a time where when a game was done, it was done. It was on a fucking cartridge. You can't patch your Nintendo 64. If there was a bug, there was a bug. But with the internet, and it's both a blessing and a curse, because we have amazing internet. We can get games that look incredible, and if there's problems, they can be fixed. But then I think that's a little bit of a crutch, where you get these goddamn day one patches that are like 100 gigs. And
yeah. When was the last time a game launched that did have a fucking 20 gig day one update?
And then they go, oh, this game's gone gold, and then fucking 80 gig day one patch. Like, what? Just release it.
Do you know what's always confused me? Random side note. Why is it that digital games are just as expensive as physical games?
I did think that, and I think one of the reasons I heard was, I don't think it's going to last for very long, because the way games are being bought is different. But I think the reason they did that, say with like PlayStation, right? Because it's very big on PlayStation. Like PlayStation, or last I saw, PlayStation 4 to buy GTA 5 was like $100 dues.
Yeah, exactly. What the fuck?
So the reason that I heard was PlayStation doesn't want to undercut the physical stores, EB Games, etc., because they still need EB Games, or whatever store, EB Games, to sell their consoles. So they don't want to piss off. They don't want to undercut and put them out of business, because they need them for console selling. They need them for advertisement. You walk past an EB Games, of course you're gonna go have a look and see what's going on. And they got all the posters, they got their sale signs up, because they're always on a sale.
I would be happy with a middle ground, and that EB Games can sell me a digital copy. They can sell me a little fucking piece of paper that has a code on it, so I can, because it is, if I don't give a shit about discs anymore, I'm not one of those guys who loves to have their collection of 300 PlayStation 1 to 4 games displayed in the hard case.
Don't look at my background.
I don't care. So I tend to be, mind you, I haven't lately, but I always tend to someone who traded in my old shit every time a new generation came out. Because I just don't care. I'm not a video game collector. That's not my thing.
Yeah. I will still buy console games, but I mean, I can't even buy a PC game. I don't have a disc drive on my PC. But it's kind of weird where with PC games, I'm all digital.
I don't have a disc drive either. I just realized that.
Like console games, I will still buy the physical copy. Most of the time, it's actually cheaper to buy it physically.
Especially if it's not a brand new game.
Like if you go GB Hi-Fi, you get like a game for like $70.
Yeah. Which is pissed me off. It's like I have to go to JB Hi-Fi to buy a fucking physical copy when I could be downloading it and it's more expensive.
And don't even get me started on the games that don't even have a disc.
You buy a physical copy and inside the physical copy is just a code.
Yeah. I don't remember what game I bought that was like that.
Hey, basically, because I haven't been there in a while, but I'm pretty sure you can still go into JB Hi-Fi and they sell PC games, and that's exactly what it is. If you buy any of those PC games at JB Hi-Fi, they're just boxes with a code inside.
Well, who puts disc drives in your PC anymore? There's probably some people out there that want to watch DVDs.
Or something. Yeah, I don't know.
Blu-rays.
I'm pretty sure I bought Elder Scrolls Online on a physical because I bought the fancy schmancy digital deluxe, not digital, the deluxe Imperial edition or whatever, because it came with a sweet little statue and no disc. I literally went and picked it up and it was like all the statue and everything in this box. I was like, where's the fucking game? And I was looking through the pieces of garbage paper that comes with it. And I was like, oh, here's the fucking disc and here's the game code on a piece of paper.
Like, oh, yuck.
I was like, okay, not even whatever, I suppose.
Yeah, I think I'm getting... Well, I don't buy too many console games these days anyway, unless they're like, you know, the must-haves, like all those Nintendo games and stuff like that. And I'm not going to buy a PS5 until they're actually release something worth spending $1 million dues on.
Dollary dues.
Yeah, I mean, we could literally talk all day, but I'm going to end it there.
We probably could.
So yeah, final thoughts on Halo. Like, how do you feel about Halo now, and what does it mean to you?
I still love Halo. Even though I haven't played any of the Halos in quite a while, Halo, especially Combat Evolved, OG Halo 1, will always hold that nostalgic place in my heart, especially as a game that really, from then on, pushed me into shooters.
Yeah.
Like that, Halo is the reason why I played Call of Duty. Halo is the reason why I played Mass Effect. Halo is the reason I played any of those shooter games when I was in that period of my life. So I'll always love Halo, no matter how shit it comes. I think Halos 1 to 3 you can pick up and play, and they're great games. No matter how old you are, no matter what you've been playing, no matter what time of year it is, they're just fucking good games.
It's so good now that they're on PC now, and that's one of the reasons why I guess I never played much Halo. I dabbled in Halo 1 because, as I said, my friend had an Xbox, so I was more, PlayStation. So Halo, to me, I'd never really played anything of it. I'm excited that it's all come to PC. Will I play them? Maybe one day. But when the new Halo Infinite ever comes out in Game Pass day one, baby, I will definitely jump into it. Very excited to give it a crack.
We could do you, me, and Divine could totally do playthroughs of, if we all had Game Pass, we could totally do playthroughs of the Halo games.
We could. We should.
I think
when Sea of Thieves gets us a little bit too salty and triggered. So
next week, what do you reckon?
Yeah, it's like give us a few days. give us a few days to Sea of Thieves. And it's like, yeah, back to Halo, boys.
Yeah, fucking hell.
Yeah, but yeah, very special game to a lot of people. But that does it for this episode. Chris, where can everyone find your thoughts?
On my super non-existent social media.
Plug your stuff.
my super non-existent social media presence is what? My Twitter is at Dracklinmate, and so is my Twitch. My Twitch is Dracklinmate as well.
Go follow him. Give him a reason to start streaming, please.
Watch me not stream, and then also watch me tweet randomly about the football or the cricket pissing me off, or shit I don't really care about.
or the cricket or football making you happy.
Oh, then
Sometimes.
Australia beat India. Fuck India. Woo! Australia number one.
Queensland. 5 years later. Fuck you, Queensland.
Fuck you, hate you again. You should. God damn it.
You can find myself at twitch.tv/wilbursprinkle. You can also find the videos of this podcast, and I'm gonna start doing some other videos as well on my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/wilbursprinkle. And you can find all of that and everything I do on Twitter, which I'm at wilbursprinkle. Twitter's probably the best way to keep up with everything I'm doing. This podcast will also be on iTunes, Spotify, all the major podcast players. And if you can, definitely give us a 5-star review. It would really help a lot. Something about algorithms, stupid algorithms, something like that.
Damn algorithm.
Yeah, great episode. Probably went a little bit longer than what I thought.
Shit, it's almost 12 o'clock.
But we, when Chris and I talk, we talk. We can talk a lot. But thank you everyone for listening, and I'll see you all next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Have a good time.